Wojak hamster's kid is burning up. 102 degrees. Little body shaking under a thin blanket in a cold apartment in Ohio. It's 2:14 in the morning, and the only pharmacy still open is the Walmart on Route 30. So Wojak hamster drives. No heat in the car because the heater died last month and fixing it would cost $300 he doesn't have. He walks through those sliding doors into the fluorescent hell where the lights buzz at a frequency that makes your fillings ache. Past the empty shopping carts. Past the security guard half asleep on a stool. To the self-checkout in the back corner where nobody can see him. He grabs a box of children's Tylenol. $12.47. He puts it on the scanner. Swipes his card. The machine thinks. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Red screen. Declined. That flat dead beep echoes across the empty store. The security guard lifts his head. A woman 3 registers over turns to look. Wojak hamster feels the heat climb up his neck, his ears, the back of his skull. His paw is already reaching for the card again, because maybe it didn't read right. Maybe one more try. He swipes again. Green screen. Approved. Relief floods his chest for exactly 4 seconds before the math catches up. He had $11 in checking. The Tylenol cost $12.47. The bank didn't approve that second swipe out of mercy. It approved it because every time Wojak hamster goes $1 into the red, the bank earns $35, $1.47 of overspend, $35 overdraft fee. Calculate that as an annual rate and you're staring at 2,900% on children's medicine at 2 in the morning while his kid shivers 3 miles away. If that red screen just made something tighten in your chest, subscribe 3 miles away. Because what happens to Wojak hamster on the drive home turns that $35 fee into a $2,500 annual bleed, and El Pepperoni is standing 3 aisles over with the exact blueprint to stop the bleeding. Now watch the trap close. Wojak hamster walks to the parking lot. Cold January air slaps his face. He's clutching the Tylenol bag like it contains diamonds because in a way it does. It just cost him $47.47 when you add the fee. He gets in his Civic, turns the key, pulls onto Route 30, and somewhere between the Walmart and his apartment he hears it. That rhythmic thwap 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 of rubber dying against asphalt. He pulls over, kills the engine, walks around to the rear passenger side. A nail. A single 2-inch nail sticking straight up from the tread like the universe giving him the finger. He stands there in the dark. Snow starting to fall. The Tylenol bag in one paw. His phone in the other showing a bank balance of negative $24.47. And for one terrible second his eyes move from the phone to the Tylenol bag and back again. Should he return it? Should he take back his sick kid's medicine to cover the overdraft? The thought lasts 2 seconds. He shoves it down. But it was there. That's what being broke does to you. It makes you calculate the cost of your child's comfort. Now a new tire costs about $120. He doesn't have $120. He's already negative, so he does the only thing the system allows him to do. He pulls out his credit card. The one with the 27.99% APR. Why so high? Because his credit score is 580. Why 580? Because last year's emergency room bill went to collections, which cratered his score, which means every piece of credit he touches now comes with a punishment rate. The tire goes on the card. $120 at 27.99%. Minimum payments only because that's all he can afford. That tire will cost $214 by the time he's done paying. $120 tire for $214. There's a name for this. It's called the boots theory. A rich man buys $50 boots that last 10 years. A poor man buys $10 shoes that last 6 months. Over a decade, the poor man spends double. Poverty costs more, always, every single time, but the tire and the overdraft, that's just tonight. One night in the life of Wojak hamster. Zoom out to an entire year and the number that appears will physically hurt. Wojak hamster sits in his dead car on the shoulder of Route 30, snow accumulating on the windshield, and opens his banking app. He scrolls through the transaction history. His paw moves slowly down the screen, and every line is a small wound. Overdraft fee January. Overdraft fee January again. Late fee, phone bill due on the 14th, paycheck lands on the 15th. Every single month, $25 times 12. $300 a year for the crime of getting paid 1 day too late. The credit card interest, average balance $3,200 at 27.99%, another $896 vanishing into the bank's pocket while he sleeps. The overdrafts themselves, roughly 6 per year at 35 each, another 210, added up $2,500 every year, not on luxuries, not on vacations, not on the avocado toast that financial gurus scream about on TikTok, on penalties, on fees, on the mathematical price of not having enough money. $2,500 a year is the poverty tax, the invisible surcharge the system charges you for being broke. And here's where it gets truly sick. That $2,500 is the exact amount that could build the emergency fund, that would eliminate the overdrafts, that would improve his credit score, that would lower his rates, that would free up cash to actually build something. The system doesn't just take your money, it takes the precise money you'd need to escape. And this machine wasn't built by accident, it was engineered. Let me show you exactly how the gears connect. 3 aisles over in that same Walmart, El Pepperoni was buying sparkling water, store brand, $1.89. He paid with a cashback card that gives him 2% on groceries. The store effectively paid him 4 cents to hydrate. His pepperoni sombrero sits on the passenger seat of a 7-year-old Toyota Camry. His checking account holds exactly 1 month of expenses, not $1 more because every extra dollar is already deployed. He heard that beep at the self-checkout. He watched Wojak Hamster's ears droop, and he didn't feel smug. He felt something closer to recognition, because El Pepperoni wasn't born knowing the rules. He learned them the expensive way. The difference between him and Wojak Hamster isn't brains. It isn't willpower. It's information. The bank has a name for Wojak Hamster. They call him a revolver, someone who revolves a balance month after month, paying interest forever, spinning on the hamster wheel. Revolvers are the bank's favorite customers, the golden geese. Every month, Wojak Hamster faithfully sends his minimum payment, and the algorithm calculates exactly how to keep him paying as long as mathematically possible without ever catching up. El Pepperoni? They call him a deadbeat. In banking terminology, a deadbeat is someone who pays the balance in full every month, someone the bank can't extract interest from, someone who uses the bank's money for free and earns cash back on top. El Pepperoni costs the bank money. Wojak Hamster makes the bank money. Think about that vocabulary for a second. The bank's pet name for its most profitable customer is revolver, spinning forever. Its term of contempt for responsible borrowers is deadbeat. The words tell you everything about whose side the system is on. You're probably thinking, but I need credit to survive in America. You're absolutely right, and that's exactly the trap. Can't rent an apartment without a credit check. Can't get a phone plan. In some states can't even get hired. You're forced to play the game. The only question is whether you play it like the revolver or the deadbeat. But revolver and deadbeat aren't even the cruelest part. Wait until you see what the algorithm does with your zip code. Same car, same driver, same driving record, 2 completely different prices, and the difference will make your blood pressure spike. Same Civic, same year, same mileage. Wojak Hamster pays $1,800 a year for car insurance. El Pepperoni pays $920. Same coverage. The difference, $880 a year, exists because an algorithm looked at their zip codes and decided that Wojak Hamster's neighborhood correlates with higher claims. Not his driving, his address. That's $880 a year for the crime of living on the wrong side of town. They call this the zip code tax. And it is perfectly and completely legal. If this is starting to make your blood simmer, if you're starting to see the shape of the machine, smash that like button. It costs nothing. It takes half a second, and it helps more people see the gears they're trapped in. Now, El Pepperoni is about to explain the one number that changes everything. The number is smaller than you think, and it has a name. El Pepperoni sits in his Camry on the Walmart parking lot, engine off, snow settling on the hood like ash. He pulls out his phone, opens the calculator, and says something that sounds too simple to be true, but carries the weight of every overdraft fee Wojak Hamster has ever paid. There's a line, invisible, horizontal, floating somewhere between broke and free. Below that line, gravity pulls you down. Every dollar you spend costs more than $1. Fees, interest, penalties, surcharges, zip code taxes, punishment rates. The system is designed to accelerate your fall. Above that line, gravity flips. Every dollar you have starts earning more dollars. Interest, cashback, avoided fees, lower insurance, better credit terms. The line isn't at $1 million, not at 100,000, not even at 50. The line is at $10,000 in accessible savings. That's it, 10,000. Below it, you're a revolver. Above it, you start becoming a deadbeat. El Pepperoni calls it the gravity line. Here's the math, and it's savage. Below the gravity line, Wojak hamster bleeds $2,500 a year in poverty taxes. We counted every drop. Above it, El Pepperoni earns $450 on a high-yield savings account, paying 4.5%. Saves $880 on lower insurance because his score is above 740. Collects $300 in credit card rewards instead of paying interest. Below the line, minus $2,500. Above it, plus $1,630. That's a $4,000 swing. Same species, same city, same Walmart at 2 in the morning. Different side of one invisible line. Across town, in a small apartment that smells like chamomile and old paper, Doge Papa is sitting in his hodl cardigan. His brokerage app shows 7 digits. His tea is getting cold. He reaches into the back pocket of his corduroys and pulls out a folded piece of paper so old the creases have turned white. An overdraft notice from 1997. $35. Faded ink. He keeps it in his wallet the way some people keep photographs of the dead. Much broke once, he whispers. Very overdraft. He crossed the gravity line on a futon in Queens with a credit score worse than Wojak hamsters. Everything after, the Bitcoin at $10, the diamond hands through 3 crashes, the cardigan, the calm, all of it was only possible because he got above that line first. The line didn't make him rich. It made him unkillable. And that's the difference. Now you're probably thinking, $10,000? I can barely make rent. Where am I supposed to find $10,000? That's the most honest question in this entire video. It's what Wojak hamster would say while lighting a cigarette at the bus stop. But here's what Doge Papa knows. You don't find $10,000. You stop bleeding long enough to accumulate it, and the plan to stop the bleeding has a name. It's called the 6-month monk. It's not fun. It's not a hack. It works every single time, and it starts with a $14 burger. Wojak hamster makes $36,000 a year. After federal, state, and FICA, his take-home is roughly $26,400. That's $2,200 per month. Rent eats $900. Utilities $140. And then there's food. Wojak hamster spends $600 a month on food, not because he's eating steak, because he's eating DoorDash. After a 10-hour warehouse shift, the last thing he wants to do is stand over a stove. So he opens the app, orders a Wendy's combo. The burger is $14, but the delivery fee is $5. The service fee is $3. The suggested tip, already calculated at 22% before he can blink, adds another $4. That $14 meal just became $26. 3 times a week, that's an extra $144 a month, on fees, for the privilege of staying horizontal on his couch. The monk plan says cook, every meal, 6 months, rice, beans, frozen vegetables, eggs, chicken thighs at $1.19 per pound. Boring. Repetitive, effective. Food drops from $600 to $220. That's $380 freed. The phone switches from contract to prepaid. $40 back. The streaming purge in the gym he hasn't visited since March. Another $93. And then the hard one. Cigarettes. Wojak hamster smokes a pack a day. $7.35 per pack. $220 a month. $2,646 a year. El Pepperoni doesn't moralize about it. He just holds up the number next to the poverty tax. $2,646 on cigarettes. $2,500 in poverty tax. Wojak hamster is literally burning his escape money. Inhaling it. Watching it curl into smoke and disappear. Total freed per month under the monk plan, $683. But El Pepperoni has one more move. He walks to the dumpster behind Wojak hamster's warehouse, reaches in, pulls out an envelope, unopened, from the employer. He tears it open and holds it up. Wojak hamster's company offers a 401k with a 3% match. For every dollar Wojak puts in up to 3% of his salary, the company adds a free dollar. That's $1,080 a year sitting in the trash. Literally in the trash. Free money that Wojak hamster has been throwing away for 3 years because nobody explained what the envelope meant. Now the 401k is locked until retirement, so it doesn't directly fill the gravity line, but the habit does. El Pepperoni's real instruction is this: open a separate high-yield savings account. Not at Wojak Hamster's current bank that pays 0.01% while earning 5% on his deposits. At an online bank paying 4.5%. Set up an automatic transfer. $170 every Friday. The money leaves before Wojak Hamster can see it, before he can touch it, before DoorDash can whisper. 170 times 26 pay periods is $4,420 in 6 months. Add the fees that stop hitting as the buffer builds. The gravity line approaches. Some of you are saying, rice and beans for 6 months is easy to preach from a Toyota in a parking lot. You're right. It is easy to say. It is brutal to do. And that's exactly why most people stay below the gravity line forever. The system made comfort cheap and freedom expensive. DoorDash is $26 tonight, but costs you the gravity line over a lifetime. Rice is $2 tonight and buys you a future where the red screen never flashes again. The math is simple. The discipline is the price of admission. El Pepperoni never said it was free. Wojak Hamster sits in his car. Snow on the windshield. The monk plan on a napkin. El Pepperoni slid through his window. $170. Every Friday. Automatic. He opens his banking app. Taps savings. Taps setup transfer. Types 170. His paw hovers over the confirm button. 3 seconds. The longest 3 seconds since the self-checkout. He presses it. Nothing explodes. No confetti. No champagne. Just a small green check mark on a screen. But somewhere in the machinery of the American financial system, a gear clicks. For the first time in Wojak Hamster's adult life, a gear clicks in his direction. Same Walmart. 8 months later. Same fluorescent lights. Same buzz that makes your teeth itch. Wojak Hamster is at the self-checkout again. Evening this time. 7:15. His kid needs Tylenol again. Kids always need Tylenol. The box is $12.47. He swipes his card. The machine thinks. 1 second, 2 seconds, green screen. Approved. No beep, no red flash, no heat crawling up his neck, no woman turning to stare. Just a quiet, clean transaction, because there's $4,600 in his savings and $800 in checking. He's not across the gravity line yet. Not quite, but the overdrafts have stopped. The credit card balance has dropped by 1/3. His credit score has started climbing, slowly, like something waking up after a long winter. The gears are turning, in the other direction. He walks to his car, still the Civic, but with a proper tire now, bought with cash, not credit. He sits down, pulls out his phone, finds a text from 8 months ago. 3 words from Doge Papa. Build the buffer. He reads it again. This time it lands, not as noise, as architecture. He opens his banking app, sees the balance, and for the first time in years, looking at his bank account doesn't make him want to reach for the pack on the dashboard. There's 1 cigarette left, sitting on the dash like a dare. $7.35 worth of smoke. He does the math now, the math El Pepperoni carved into his brain. 735 times 30 is $220.50 a month. Times 12 is $2,646 a year. The poverty tax, the escape fund, going up in smoke, or not. He puts the cigarette back in the pack, puts the pack in the glove compartment, starts the engine, drives home. In the Walmart parking lot, El Pepperoni watches the Civic pull away, taillights fading into the snow. He takes a sip of his sparkling water, store brand, $1.89, 2% cash back, adjusts his pepperoni sombrero in the rearview mirror. The system isn't broken, he says to no one. It was built this way, but the hamster read the blueprint, and reading the blueprint changes the math, and changed math changes everything. Across town, Doge Papa looks at his phone. No new messages. He smiles into his chamomile. Much growth, he whispers. Very proud. He folds the overdraft notice from 97 and slides it back into his wallet. Proof that the gravity line is real. Proof that it can be crossed. Proof that on the other side, the gears spin differently. Proof that it can be crossed. If this video changed how you see your next paycheck, subscribe and hit the bell. Every week we crack open another trap the system set for Wojak Hamster and show you how El Pepperoni walks right through it. Drop a comment with your real number. What's your poverty tax? I read every single one. Next Friday, $170 leaves your account automatically. Or it doesn't. That's the only decision that matters now. Everything else is just gravity.